Greetings, adventurers, and welcome back to Abnormal Voyages. Today we are in Little Improved, Mississippi, here at Smitty's, to catch up with our old friend Chuck E. Cheese and see a live performance from the Rock-afire explosion. Let's check it out.
We're going to a place that you've never heard of before. It's Abnormal Voyages. You're gonna learn something new. We're gonna open new doors. It's Abnormal Voyages.
For anybody who is ever a fan of awesome animatronics, Smitty's Super Service Station is heaven on earth.
Hey! Good to see you! Good to see you too! Let's get in there!
Come on, come check it out!
If you've ever been to a Chuck E. Cheese or Showbiz pizza, walking into Smitty's will be a warm, friendly blast of massive nostalgia. The first Chuck E. Cheese Pizza Time Theater opened in 1977, the first arcade-oriented, family-friendly restaurant. And of course, the entertainment at these locations were computer-controlled animatronics, who became a massive hit, featuring Chuck E. Cheese and his friends. Just a few years later, Robert Brock would spin off this idea and join with the geniuses at Creative Engineering to form their own business, Showbiz Pizza Place. Showbiz would feature a brand new hit act created by Creative Engineering, the Rock-afire Explosion. Both restaurants would come together when Showbiz purchased Chuck E. Cheese's Pizza Time Theater in 1984. Together, their company became a mashup of both names, Showbiz Pizza Time. However, the restaurant locations continued to operate separately with their respective names. For anyone growing up as a kid in the 80s, this was the pinnacle of magic. Everybody wanted to go and have a party at one of these amazing locations. Luckily, here at Smitty's Super Service Station, you get the chance to relive a little bit of that magic. There's so much genuine artifacts and memorabilia from both locations that it really brings memories flooding back for those who got to experience it, and for those who haven't, the chance to take a peek behind the curtain of what it used to be like in the golden days of these animatronic restaurants. It was amazing just how much product had been made with these characters that entertained everybody as they munched on their pizza. Pretty much any item you can think of, they've made it. But of course, Smitty's is about far more than just the memorabilia. When you come here, you get the full experience. So soon we sat down, and of course had some pizza ready to go, and it was showtime.
Quiet on the set!
Welcome one and all to Smitty's Super Service Station. That's right, folks. I'm your host, the Big C, Chuck E. Cheese. And today we're here to talk about... Hey, Big C. Are you not talking about the big? And we finally got the whoopee cushions. You may always put up. Thank you very much. Sorry about that, folks. The thing is about that fruitcake dog, he has his funny bone for a break. Anyways, like I was saying, we're so glad to see you here at Smitty. What do you mean glad? Does it really? You're in the middle of nowhere? Tonight the ball is stuck here in the seat. Now, what you nitwits write down? First of all, I don't know what's wrong with your computer dummy brain. And second of all, we're not in the middle of nowhere. You're right, Big C. Face Entertainment is amazing. People, a lot of fans of many generations, from young and old, can come visit us. And plus, a lot of people who visit us can watch it on YouTube.
gotta give you now, Jasmine. All the ladies need me because they love a Pasquale more.
You know, Pasquale, the only fan you have is the pizza fan. Now, let me get on with the show. You see what happens when these midlets try to take over the whole show? Anyway, thank you all for coming to Smitty. And don't touch that dial, because we'll be back in a little bit. Hey, Big C, how about those sweet cushions? Anyway, folks, this is the Big C, Chuck E. Cheese thing. You're everything you want from these people, Dawn.
They had the whole gang here. The Warblettes, Munch, Jasper, of course, Chuck E. Cheese himself, Helen, and last, but certainly not least, Pasquale. We also couldn't help noticing this mysterious hole underneath the stage.
Alright, we are going to go through the cheese crawl now. Alright, here we go through the cheese crawl. Got some pictures. We are headed toward Munch's Madhouse. Oh, wow. It's nice and cozy in here. Look at all that. Even got a little fan in here just in case it gets a little hot. Lots of cheese on the walls. Oh, who's that guy? Oh, yeah. So during the shows and stuff, kids could come in here, hang out, run away from your parents. Oh, look at that! There's somebody else in the cheese hole!
And of course, Chuck E. Cheese and his friends aren't the only performers here at Smitty's. One of my personal favorite musical acts here is The Beagles, modeled after the one and only Beatles. We've got John, Paul, George, and Ringo, all represented lovingly here with dogs. You can even catch a performance by the one and only King. This guy belts out Elvis's tunes almost better than he could. But the star attraction is the Rock of Fire explosion. Mitzi, Beach Bear, Fats, and Duke are all here to rock out and play the hits just for you at Smitty's. Of course, Rolf and Earl are here as part of the band as well. And it's not a Rock of Fire explosion show without Billy Bob and his friend Looney Bird.
We're here with Mr. Damon Breland at Smitty's Super Service in Little Improve, Mississippi. How you doing today, sir?
All right, how are y'all?
Are doing great.
Glad to have y'all with us.
Well, thank you. It's an honor to be here. So, first I gotta ask, what made you want to do this? What was your driving thought to put this amazing place together?
My driving thought, when I had children of my own and started going to Chuck E. Cheese, it was not what I remembered as a kid. So I wanted to to find a way to be able for my children to relive what I had, and it kind of blew up from there.
Well, I think that's a great, reasoning behind it. Something you can kind of leave behind, show your kids what it was like when, the rest of us were younger. It's definitely, I mean, even me growing up, the Chuck E. Cheese is way different now than what I went to.
Mm-hmm.
So, very cool seeing all this. So how long has it taken you to piece all this together?
I started this collection in 2003.
Wow.
And I added my last piece so far in 2018.
Okay, so not too long ago.
So
it looks like it's something definitely always evolving, always little things.
It has been. Originally I was just like, we'll get a few dolls, get a few records. And it's like, ooh, there's a robot. What could I do with that? And then it was like, oh crap, I need a building.
Gotta have a place for the robot to live, right?
Right, can't stay in the garage forever. We got to be able to park the cars.
So what was actually your first piece that you got?
Memorabilia was actually what I started with. I have a curio cabinet over here. Hopefully he was able to get some video from it. He can.
Yeah, we'll show right here. We'll add it in.
Yeah. And it really snowballed from there. It was crazy. I'm like, I'm going to do some dolls and records, and the next thing I know, I've bought robots, and I'm renting a rider truck and flying to Orlando, and I'm having to get cashier's check and savings money out. I'm getting myself in deep.
So who was your first animatronic that you got?
The first animatronics that I got were actually the Rockfire Explosion. They came as a set. So it wasn't an individual, it was the whole set that was from Creative Engineering in Orlando, from Aaron Fector himself.
Wow, so right off the bat you got all of them together.
Yeah.
That must have been very helpful instead of having to track them down and do the different pieces.
Well, in the opposite of it, when I was working on getting the Chuck E. Cheese characters together, it took almost 10 years and 4 different trips to get them as a set. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
So and that's funny that you would think the older one would have been the harder one to get, but it sounds like that was the kind of easy buy.
At the time when I was doing my collection and starting it, Chuck E. Cheese still had all the robots in the stores.
Sure.
So to me, that was probably part of the reason that they were a little harder to come by, because they were still being actively used.
And it makes sense, and they're going to be much less likely to sell them to you,
right,
if they're like, oh no, we're still using these to make our money.
Exactly.
So I have to ask about the name, Smitty's Super Service. Where does that come from, and why did you choose that as the name?
Well, if y'all will look right behind me here, Billy Bob is working at Smitty's Super Service.
Okay.
That was actually from Showbiz. That was the fictitious service station that he worked at. And he was a country bear in the backwoods of Tennessee. So when I wound up with this store, which originally was my grandfather's, and then after he passed, it kind of heired to my father. He wanted his garage back, so we moved everything in here. And I mean, I was like, people were like, well, if you're going to put it in there, you got to call it something.
Sure.
And I'm like, well, what am I going to call it? And then, it hit me. I mean, I don't even know. It just hit me. It's like, well, Billy Bob worked at a gas station in the country. Well, that's what this is. I got the pumps out front. Let's go with Smitty's. And I mean, that was it. Just.
It's a great name. And then people who are familiar with it will be like, oh, that's the place from the actual.
Yeah, it's like, wait, you didn't make that? No, that was what it was back in the 80s at Showbiz. He was actually working at Smitty's back then.
That's even better. Kind of keeps it in canon.
There's even skits talking about welcome to Smitty's Super Service. So.
All right, so I know this is probably pretty hard, but if you had to pick, who is your favorite character that you have?
That's for a parent. That's like trying to tell them to pick their favorite child.
Well, we'll tell them not to listen.
Yeah,
cover your ears, guys.
But it's going to wind up being Billy Bob,
mm-hmm,
because he's the country bear. He's from the country, and that was just something that struck with me, being from the country. We did a documentary over a decade ago, and what actually got me in that documentary wasn't my robots. I have a Billy Bob tattoo.
Oh.
So the creator, Aaron, had known about me, and we had met, and I've got a picture of him with my tattoo, and he had mentioned to the people who were doing the documentary, and I'm like, well, we might need to go meet this guy. They didn't really have any idea that they were going to get here and see this too. But
They're just after the ink.
they were wanting to come see the weirdo with the tattoo. And you know, back in the documentary, the Chuck E. Cheese characters weren't over there. That was another wall, and I had the rides on that wall. And I was sitting over there when we were doing the interview for that, and you know, took my shirt off, turned around, and was pointing to it and everything, and that made it into the documentary. So you know, and I mean, I've added, you know, Mitzi and you know, Fats. So I mean, that kind of, you know, shows the lineage of the characters.
Sure.
Like, but Billy Bob.
You definitely got that dedication going on there.
You know.
So do you have a favorite song or show that you do here that's just your top one, or are they all kind of equal?
Once again, it's like trying to pick, you know, a favorite.
Just your mood of the day,
a favorite kid, you know. Probably some of the best shows for the Rock-A-Fire, the Beatles shows.
Okay.
So they did the Beatles White Album.
Oh wow.
And they did Abbey Road. So that was at the pinnacle of the height of the fame of
the
Showbiz.
Beatlemania. Oh, Showbiz.
You know,
Okay.
82, 83, 84. That was the height of everything for them. So those shows were some of the best for me. And I actually can remember. I don't remember which one it was, but my memories of Showbiz, I remember those Beatles shows.
Something that you hold on to from when you used to go.
As a child. So.
Fantastic. I mean, it's obviously made an imprint on you to have everything here today and kind of spread that on to the next generation, hopefully. Mm-hmm. Now, is there anything else you'd like to tell everybody? Anything about Smitty's? Any last words or inviting people in?
Well, hey, I'm a private. I'm not open for public. You just have to get in touch with me with my website and set up an appointment to come out. And, you know, we'll give you a show and let your moms and dads take a trip down memory lane. Let your kids see something that you saw as you were a child, and you know, get to see the childlike wonder in their eyes when they do it. You know, it's. I've been referred to recently. I haven't thought of it a lot yet, but more people are starting to say it's like a museum. You
Definitely,
know,
I can see that.
It's stepping back in time and seeing a point in history that, you know, technically was not that long ago, but technologically wise was
feels like a long time ago.
Long time ago, you know. So
yeah, I definitely would liken it to that. It's one of the most fun museums I think we've ever seen. Well, thank you so much, guys. It is absolutely worth coming out here. It is amazing. Words alone and video can't describe it. You need to see it for yourself. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank y'all.
To complete the feeling, Smitty's even has its very own arcade. You can step behind the curtain and play video games to fill the night. Overall, Smitty's Super Service Station is one of the most amazing places I think I've ever been. By the time that final curtain closes, you're gonna wish that it would never end.
Well, my name is David. This has been Abnormal Voyages. Thanks for tagging along and rocking out with us. We'll see you next week.
Join us next week where things really heat up in a very spicy voyage. We'll see you there.